Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
We're once again thrown into the DC universe with another fantastic series that once aired on Cartoon Network, Justice League.
This well-loved series stars Superman, Batman, how dare you put Superman first, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl as the superheroes unite to protect the Earth from evil. It spanned for 2 seasons, 52 wonderful episodes, and a spin-off series.
Yeah. And this came on in 2001, I think.
And it's still fantastic and fun to watch now. The entire series all over again.
Right.
You can watch it like you've never seen it. And you're not going, this is dated. Looking at the animation, the writing, the storylines, and the arcs, it just doesn't get old.
Right. And when this came on, I remember it coming on TV when I was little, but I never watched it because I was not into superhero shows at the time it was on. I still watched, Static and Danny Phantom, which was odd because I watched all these other ones that had superheroes, but somehow I don't watch Justice League. I don't know, but still,
we saw this on Netflix.
Yes, that's right, and we were surprised. Like, we finally get to see it since, it's there. And we were surprised how great it was from the first episodes.
Now, you have to remember that some of these series that I did see myself, of course, when I was much younger, long before you were even a thought or anything else, I've seen different incarnations of Justice League. So this was, what, the third or the second incarnation of the series? Yeah, so I had seen others, of course, the ones that are considered campy now.
Right.
And this one took a great leap forward when it came out.
Right.
In terms of being more, I don't want to say that.
Mature.
Yeah, more mature. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. More mature. Again, better writing, animation, not being campy. I mean, campy was fun for the time it was out, but this became the Justice League for the times. It became the Justice League. And once this series came out, the other one was just, you can't even compare them. That one was a Justice League for a different time, from an innocent time, when as much money and time and professionalism was not put into the show itself.
Right.
Again, it was campy and it was fun. But you get to this and it's like, wow, darn, the storylines, the characters, the voice actors,
kind of like
action.
Voltron.
Exactly. So,
and
this is the official Justice League now. It's like the other incarnations don't even exist. This is Justice League.
Right.
When anyone says Justice League, this is the version they're thinking of.
Exactly. And the episodes were broken up into like 2 or 3 parts if they were a little bit longer. There would always be an hour long. It would be an hour long episode, but broken into parts. It would be part 1 and part 2 because the stories were that engaging and that long that they had to split into 2 parts each time.
Right.
Only one time it wasn't 2 parts was when they had a sort of holiday special, and it was all these different heroes doing stuff during the holiday times, and that was pretty much it. But every other one was either 2 parts, or when they got to the final episode of this series, and it was 4 parts, like a series finale movie.
Right. Now, some great standout features of this particular series for me: 1, Wonder Bat, of course, Wonder Woman and Batman, the best ship ever, and the relationship and the dialogue between the 2 characters was fantastic. It was perfect.
And what was funny is it wasn't really as intensified until it got to Unlimited, which was the sequel series to this one. Well, follow-up, I should say, to it. And at first, we were thinking, okay, her and Superman, way before, DC decided that power couple should be a thing. It was just, you can pretty much do whatever you want with the characters. But what was really unexpected was her falling for Batman. It was like the oddest thing. You were thinking Superman, you were thinking him, or who's the person? Oh, shoot, hold on.
Not Steve Trevor.
That's his name. Okay, Thank
Steve
you.
Trevor.
It wasn't Steve Trevor.
Right.
They did have him in there, but he was. But they didn't have them together because there was a big time gap this time.
Right.
They went back in time and helped him. And then when it got to now, he was an elderly man and she was still friends with him, but you didn't know that happened.
Exactly. For me, I love this ship because, as you said, one, it was unexpected. But two, the greatest thing for me is that this is Wonder Woman. She could have any man on the planet and beyond that she wanted. And she chose a regular mortal man with no superpowers except for his billions and his brain and his determination. And it's like she was saying, you know, she fell for this guy that was the total opposite of her in terms of power. But, you know, he made up for it again in his detective powers, his determination, his tenacity, and of course his good looks. The billions meant nothing to her, and that's what makes it my favorite ship. Another thing that's a standout for this particular series is the Wally West Flash.
Oh, yeah.
And the personality and the voicing by Michael Rosenbaum. It was perfect. And this was a character that you grew to love because of this particular series.
Right. And you also found out how much of importance he had to the team. When they had this episode that showed, it was, I guess you could say, like an alternate timeline. Lex Luthor took over the country and he killed the Flash, and that drove Superman to actually do something you never thought he would do, and he killed Lex Luthor. And from there they became the Justice Lords, and they were just dictators of the entire country, and they were supposedly for peace and for keeping order, but they were just being, just like you said, dictatorship. And that was a pretty good episode, and seeing how much he mattered to the team, even though it was considered just the joke. And it's like,
right, the comic relief, exactly. Another thing I loved is how he really wanted Batman's approval. He really was looking to let him know that he was serious about being a superhero, that he was honest, that he cared about people. And remember when he was getting his statue, and he really wanted Batman to come to the presentation ceremony.
Yeah, Flash and Substance.
And it was so funny. He was like, you could see he really wanted Batman to come. When he said he was going to come, he was like, oh. He was just happy he was going to be there. But again, this is one, you know, not going to the comic book itself, but just in terms of animated series. This is one that made you really love Wally West. They gave him the greatest personality. And he was an older Wally West, you know, not the Kid Flash, but the Flash Wally West. And you liked his joking and his comedy and how he thought he was a stud and his shaggin' wagon and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, the Flashmobile. And Green Lantern said, why do you need a Flash? You know what? Nope, never mind. I don't want to know. And that became like the running joke, like the Flashmobile, like, don't ask what it's for. You don't want to know.
And then one of the episodes where, I don't know what it was called, of course you do, where they ended up finding out each one's identity. And when he came in and Alfred said, what was the line about? And he thought Batman's the detective.
Oh, yeah. Where he said, wow, that's a giant dinosaur. And Alfred said, and I thought Batman was the detective.
But you love this version of Wally West, and you love Michael Rosenbaum doing him.
Right.
And you also love Jason Spisak. But you became introduced to him through Michael Rosenbaum's voice acting in this version.
Right. Plus, he was on Smallville as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
So that was an awesome shout out as well.
Yes. Another thing that stuck out for me is how I really fell in love with the character Martian Manhunter. In the comic books, not as much, but this particular series really made me love Martian Manhunter. Just the way he was depicted, the way the character was, the calmness, the coolness, learning his backstory, learning how he chose to, the human form he chose to take, his relationship with Wonder Woman, their friendship. I really love this version of Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, and even behind the tragedy, you know what happened to his own planet, he's being the last of his kind, and you kind of understand why he has, like, almost zero emotion. But as the series goes on, you know, he starts to get used to Earth customs and more emotions than just deadpan, and and you see him grow as a character. and he considers, Justice League to be his family now, and it's hilarious how it happens. He's almost like the dad at some time,
exactly,
because of the things they'll say or they'll do, and he has like possibly the second smartest next to Batman. I can't tell which is which at this point, so I'll just say second smartest.
He was voiced here by Carl Lumbly, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what I really like is how in this version of Martian Manhunter, he's powerful, he's smart, he's strong. He hasn't been made to be a joke, or he's not made to be weaker than the humans like he is in the Supergirl series.
Yeah, I have to say that. Unlike Supergirl, where he can't do anything.
The actor who portrays him in the Supergirl series does a great job, but in terms of the writing for this character, is like what happened to the Martian Manhunter from Justice League.
Right.
You loved him for all these reasons, and this is just the best version of Martian Manhunter there is. And again, this is why this particular series has my favorite version of Martian Manhunter.
Right. And then we also have Green Lantern with Jon Stewart.
Yes, and I just learned, and I know this sounds crazy, loving this character. I cannot believe I just learned this is Phil Lamar. But he's a man of 1,000 voices because he sounds so different. It's like I never realized it was Phil Lamar. And this, of course, is our favorite Green Lantern.
Right. And he had quite a few focus episodes too, like when they had him go to Space Court and he was on trial
Not Space Hospital.
And he was on trial for destroying a planet he unintentionally blew up, and they were surprised that he wasn't trying, say, I didn't do it or anything. He was pleading guilty, and even the courts were surprised, like, you're not even going to lie or anything, and he was going to accept punishment. They were trying to get him, from being either exiled or eliminated altogether, because the alien court is more strict than the Earth court.
Right.
And then lastly, you have Hawkgirl,
whom he actually had a relationship with. The Martian Manhunter said the famous line.
Oh man, okay, this was in Unlimited as well, where he when he sent Hawkgirl and Vixen on mission together with the third character, and he said, you sent my girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend together on the same mission? He said, quite frankly, I don't take your love life into consideration when I'm assigning missions. And he got pissed off and just ran and just stomped off. He's like, I don't give a crap. I'm doing this. That's it.
And last but not least, Superman. And this Superman is one that really helps you to understand the character himself, and again the portrayal. You love the Superman. You just love this entire team,
right?
And I love, and I hope this is the right incarnation, where he goes back in time and meets with Vendel Savage. Is this the one, or is it Unlimited?
Oh no, it was this one.
It was this one. He goes back to try to change a future where everything has been destroyed and eliminated, and he has this beard, and instead of Superman, remember I kept saying he's Sexy Man. And it was so funny because we started seeing online artwork, and someone else said the same thing, Sexy Man, instead of Superman.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, and he grew a beard and stuff. He had wolves and stuff, and it's like, man, every time people get lost in time, they come back just unbelievable. It's like you weren't gone that long. How did you change that quickly?
But I think for this character, what made me love this version of him is that you saw that this Superman in this series would go to any lengths to protect Earth and humans. Going back in time, meeting up with Vendel Savage to try to tell him this is how it's going to turn out, and getting Vendel Savage to go, okay, even I don't want a world like this. This is what you need to do to keep this from happening. And he was willing to do that, and he would go to any lengths to protect Earth and its people.
Right.
And again, I just love every character of this team. And I know that for some reason, Hawkgirl gets a lot of flack, and she doesn't get any love.
Yeah.
But this particular Hawkgirl, or her barroom brawling, browsing, drinking version, you just liked her. She's just, she was kick ass, and she could beat ass at the bar, and she was dating Jon Stewart, and even Wonder Woman came to her for help. I like this Hawkgirl,
Right.
Shira.
Right.
I like this Hawkgirl, and I'm just sorry that this particular character, for some reason, doesn't get a lot of love. She's a great character.
Right. Even there was one time we saw Butch Hartman did superhero special Fairly Odd Parents. Then all of them were parodies of DC and Marvel characters, and one of them who was a background character was Hawk Gal, but she was the lamest one of all, and she was pretending she really didn't have powers. And when they took the powers away and she remained unchanged, one of them said, well, she wasn't much of a hero anyway, and that was sort of the jab at the character. For some reason, she's just not as popular as the rest of the Justice League for, I guess, either her portrayal or her powers.
This particular Hawkgirl is, though. I mean, she was the only second to Wonder Woman in being able to kick anybody's butt.
Right.
If you remember,
right,
she could beat anybody that she went up against. The only time she had trouble was in Unlimited, which we'll get to. But I liked her character, and I wish that more people would give her a chance. And if you really don't know much about her, watching this series is one way to learn about one version of her. And the backstory, which transcends into every other incarnation of her.
Right.
It's the same backstory, no matter what color she is, no matter what they've decided her backstory is going to be. How she came to be and her connection with Hawkman never changes.
Right.
So this is a great way to get introduced to her. And last but not least for me is the awesome theme song.
Oh, yeah. You got a really epic theme when it starts up, plus with some CGI visuals that don't look terrible, mostly because it's dark. So, you know, looking at all detail and stuff is just really basic, really simple. Sounds heroic, very action, and that's it.
And this made it one of our favorite animated intro lists.
Right.
Because it's just that great.
And
so, any last thoughts on Justice League?
Yeah, there is one, I think one more episode I want to mention, because I know a lot of the ones there
were so many episodes we liked.
Yeah, a lot of them I really liked also were in Unlimited, but there's one that was also a standout one that weren't, a lot of them were also like character focused ones as well. But there was this one where there was this woman from Paradise Island, and she somehow created this disease with help some other female villains. She created this sort of disease that only affected men, and it was going to wipe out every man on the planet. Women weren't affected at all. Only men would get infected when they inhaled the smoke. And Hawkgirl and Wonder Woman worked together to stop them. So it not only gave them some time to, you know, work together and have some character development. It also showed kind of like a similar thing that happened with Powerpuff Girls, where it was like comparing the male superheroes to female superheroes. Like, no, they're all strong, and it's like you can't have a world without men. And like, they're not gonna last that long. Like, you're not gonna last that long in civilization without the guys. And they knew this wasn't right, and they had to stop them. And it was a really, really great episode. And of course, with some other voice acting stars doing the voices of the villainous, and they also had, I think, was it Sapphire or something?
Yes.
It's Green Lantern's enemy. It was like a violet version of Green Lantern. I had to remember there's so many lanterns now, but that'll be another one I wanted to mention because there are quite a few episodes.
And it's funny in this version of the enemy, because in Green Lantern animated series she was his ex, but we won't go into that until we go to that story. So if you've never watched this series, watch it. Watching the 3-part I guess pilot or introduction to the series itself will make you want to continue watching the entire series. So, for Superhero Month with Rascal Entertainments, this is one we knew that we just had to cover.
Yes. So, I'm Rascal Entertainments.
And I'm Mom Entertainments.
And have a toontastic day.
Peace.